Hello, my name is Caleb Machiche, and I will be talking about the Goblin shark today for my Ecological Interactions project. So to begin with, a quick overview of this shark. This shark is a very rare species that is primarily found very deep within the ocean. As you can see here, obviously this shark is not very pretty in appearance whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it looks more like an alien than it does an actual shark. But what's very unique about this shark is this long snout you see right here. Now, what makes this snout very unique and sets it apart from different other species are that it contains sensory organs that are highly sensitive called ampullae of Lorenzini. Now, since this shark lives where it is very dark, it is also very hard for this shark to see. So these sensory organs help the shark hunt down food. And the way that these sensory organs do this is by detecting electrical fields within the water. So basically, these ampullae of Lorenzini allow the shark to be able to distinguish how far or how close an object is to it. Now, the behavior of these sharks, the behavior is quite mysterious because these sharks are quite difficult to locate, and there's very few of them. So their behavior has been quite difficult to be studied. But what we do know about these sharks is that they're quite slow all around. So they're slow swimmers. They kind of just cruise around in the depths of the sea, kind of waiting for their food to come to them. So they just have a lot of lazy mannerisms that they display. But they are the primary predator in that level of ocean. So when they do eat and when they do hunt, they definitely want to make it known that they are the top predator in their ecosystem. Now, the population of this species, sadly, only about 45 of these sharks are accounted for today. And the reason for this is because this shark is extremely old. And by old, I mean like this is known to be a prehistoric shark, because to be exact, this shark can date back to approximately 125 million years ago. Um, and that's why it's also known as the living fossil. But what has caused this population to decline over time has been excessive commercial fishing. Now, what's sad about this is that commercial fishing, especially along the coast of Japan and the Pacific Ocean around Japan, this commercial fishing has caused the species to slowly start dying off. And the reason for this is because a lot of fishermen cast their nets over their boats and into the ocean, and they kind of just let their nets sink as deep as possible. And a lot of times these sharks encounter these nets in their habitat and get entrapped in these nets. And so therefore these sharks die in the nets sometimes before they even reach the boat. So they're considered bycatch. And a lot of times, since these sharks are dead, their meat is used as bait, or the fishermen simply just throw it over the boat and back into the ocean for other species to eat off of it. The community of this shark is basically non-existent. So these sharks are highly independent and they don't really function as a community whatsoever. So their independence, as a matter of fact, begins straight from birth. So as soon as they're born, their mother leaves them. So they develop these characteristics and these behaviors to where it's beneficial for them to hunt for themselves and to survive 100% independently. And these goblin sharks don't travel in a school, or they don't do things in a group whatsoever. So it's basically every shark for themselves in this case. Now, the different ecosystem interactions of this species. So their primary ecosystem interaction is their predators, and they are the primary predators, as mentioned before. And scientific research has been quite difficult to be obtained on the goblin shark because of how difficult the species is to locate and how deep the species is in the ocean. So a lot of times it's difficult for humans to go down and observe their behavior and their ecosystem interactions. But since this shark is a primary predator, it kind of eats anything and everything around them. So this could be a good thing and positively impact their ecosystem because if they're eating everything, it means they're eating invasive species. So invasive species are basically species that are causing harm to the environment or to their specific ecosystem. And so the goblin shark eating these allows that ecosystem to thrive and to do better than it was with those invasive species in it. But this could also have a negative impact on the ecosystem because the goblin sharks eating everything around them could also cause them to eat species that are either coming close to extinction or that are benefiting the ecosystem around them. Lastly, as I was doing research on this species, I never came across any current conservation efforts. But what I did take away from this as a Christian worldview was that God has placed us on this earth to take care of it. And I believe that conservation efforts are needed for any species that is close to extinction. And I think a primary way of doing this for the goblin shark specifically would be to eliminate or even highly regulate excessive commercial fishing. But one big takeaway I took from this project was the fact that as Christians and as future scientists, we really need to care for this world and take care of the land that God has blessed us with. And a verse I found that perfectly aligns with this is Genesis 2:15, which states, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to keep it." And to close, I just want to say that this verse is a great example of how we should be living our lives and how we should be taking care of the earth, especially as biology majors and future scientists and future medical professionals. That is one of the verses that I strongly believe that we need to live by to make this world a better place. Here are my references. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening to my presentation. Bye.